Joining WNYC's host of all of it, Allison Stewart, is stage and film actress Trezana Beverly.
Trezana, I'm going to brag on you for a moment. For people who don't know, that you were the first African-American actress to win Best Actress Tony for Colored Girls in the late 70s. I think I may have seen it because I'm pretty sure my mom and dad and I went to see it 2 or 3 times, grew up in the area.
Yes, yes,
So it is a
yes.
pleasure and an honor to speak with you.
Thank you. Thank
What
you.
did you think when you first read that play?
Well, I loved it. Colored Girls gave a voice to African American women who found themselves in emotionally abusive relationships. I cannot tell you the women, the Black women who would wait for us at the stage door. Sometimes they would follow us down the street, or you would see a sister sort of hovering back in the shadows, and they would come up and they would say, "Thank you," or "Can I talk to you?" You follow? When we started doing it down at the New Federal Theater with Woody King, we had sisters that were falling out in the aisles. It was like church. It was a very, very transitional play, both in its structure. It broke the fourth wall. It was on Broadway with Equus. Chorus Line came after. Those three productions, Equus, Colored Girls, and Chorus Line, broke the fourth wall, which led to narrative theater. The set was very, very simple. And it ushered in narrative theater on Broadway. And as I said, it really strengthened the self-esteem of African American women to speak up and not settle for abusive relationships. As I said, you know, theater holds that mirror up to the universe. And Colored Girls was a very pivotal and transitional theater piece for American theater.
Jonathan, when you think about the playwrights and the creatives of the 60s and the 70s, is there any one that particularly stands out for you, or do you have any that have been really inspirational for you?
I mean, in the current frame, I mean, there've been actually a lot, but the one that pops to the front of my mind at this current moment is Amiri Baraka, and it's actually not necessarily his play, but his writing, A Call for Revolutionary Theater, which for me was an igniting force. It helped me to curate another series that I did in 2020 called Call for Revolutionary Theater 2020, where it brought a bunch of Black theater professionals, practitioners to actually talk about and inspired by Mary Baraka's essay, which really leaned into the promise and to the premise of what does it mean in the midst of, in his time and at the precipice of what would become the Black arts movement, another pandemic. He was in the midst of a pandemic in 1968, the assassination of MLK, all these things that were happening. One could say there was a mirroring effect that was happening in 2020. And so then what does that call, that lean in of that call, mean for the current Black artists? How do we ignite some of the beautiful legacy torchbearers? I mean, Trezana brought up Lori Carlos, who is now who has transitioned and was a fierce advocate for ritualistic theater, helped to frame that space for ritualistic theater. So when we start to think about how, as an emerging, and I still consider myself an emerging practitioner inside of this field, when I think about the torches that I have to hold up and light up, and that are part of my pathology and part of my practice, I think of someone like a Mary Brock, I think of someone like a Lori Carlos, and I think of also someone like a Paul Carter Harrison. All legacy bearers, all torch bearers who really help to shape and frame the aesthetics that I get to now play in, and create the foundation for me to be able to do the work that I do today.
Trezana, did you want to add to that?
Yes, I'm thinking of the work that Woody King Jr. has done with the New Federal Theater. You know, most of the Black actors that you are seeing on screen now passed through the New Federal Theater. Denzel Washington, Felicia Rashad. The list goes on, and the work of the Negro Ensemble, the National Actors Theater, the theater that Sidney Poitier came out of, and those actors were very political in their perspective and mindset. You had Anna Lucasta, which was the first play on Broadway from that theater company. Ozzie Davis and Ruby Dee, they were political activists. You know, they branched out to have a theater that would speak to African-American men and women who wanted to become professional actors, and they went on to become great actors. You know, political theater / activist theater, I have thought within the framework of Black theater can't be anything other than theater that is created by activists, people who have a sense of the world and how it can change and how we can hold a mirror up to our world.